Here's a great hike to the Devil's Chair portion of the Devils Punchbowl. This is near Vallarmo in the Antelope Valley. And it's really quite an interesting hike. This hike begins at the Burkhart Trail, adjacent to the Devils Punchbowl County Park. And here's the trailhead with Jack getting ready to start up the trail. And as we get started, Dale takes a minute to point out some of the jumbled rock formations in this portion of the Devil's Punchbowl. And then about 3/4 of a mile up the Burkhart Trail, we run into a fork in the trail. And there is a sign giving us a choice. Either continue up the Burkhart Trail to Burkhart Saddle, or veer off to the Devil's Chair, which is where we're headed. And so off we go, headed towards the Devil's Chair. Actually, we've been there before, but that time coming up from the opposite direction. And very soon we get a chance to look back at our starting point, back towards the county park. And here we can look back and see the trail whence we have come. But then Jack ambles his way along the trail, heading towards the Devil's Chair. In a few places the trail gets just a little bit thin. And then the trail dips down quite drastically and arrives at a point where we find another sign. The Devil's Chair is quite close. And after traversing a bit more side hill, we find the trail all fenced in, which is actually quite good because there's quite a drop-off. And here Dale works his way down towards the Devil's Chair lookout. And here it is, with Dale standing out on the point overlooking this portion of the Devil's Punchbowl. And quite a view it is, overlooking all this convoluted rock formations. The layers being all twisted and turned and uplifted. This area is quite close to the San Andreas Fault. It's really quite an interesting sight. I don't know whether the devil had anything to do with it, but it's very interesting. This was a fairly hot day, so it required quite a bit of water drinking. But the trip to get here was really quite worth it. And by the time we get back, the total hike will have been about 7.5 miles. A very interesting territory. We even had quite a bit of varied colored rocks in these formations. So we'll just stop talking for a minute and take a look at some more of it. But then it was back up the steps from the Devil's Chair lookout to get back to the trail and start the trip back to our starting point. And on the way back, we stopped at a shady point to have a bite of the apple. And then it was back to the Nature Center at the Devils Punchbowl County Park. And then one more look at this quite unique area. That's the Antelope Valley out there in the distance on a quite beautiful day.